or do you fight it outside the rule of law, as the wretched war on terrorism did, and proved to be a massive failure and led to a clash of civilization? Which is what movies like this try to dispel and initiate a dialogue and discussion. That's sort of one part of it, to understand that. Two, as the Imam said, we are part of the West, we are citizens of the West, we need to exercise full rights. And that entails participating and discussing and being involved in the public policy debates on a day-to-day basis. Public policy work is hard work. Sitting in front of the TV and grumbling is easy, which is what everyone specializes in. You need public policy work, involvement at the municipal level, at the provincial level, at the federal level. Vote even for the Conservative Party if you so choose. I would not recommend it. Your choice. We live in a democracy, so your participation will open the doors to influencing public policy, because in the end, King Abdullah is quite capable of looking after himself. Mr. Zardari is quite capable of lining up his pockets and doing whatever else he does. It is here in Canada that you want to influence Canadian public policy on a day-to-day level, at the school level, where your children go to school, so they are treated equally with dignity and not discriminated against. This is the way you want to deal at the school level, municipal level, provincial and federal level. And if you did that, that is the greatest contribution you can make, both to fellow Muslims, fellow citizens, to Islam, and to Canada.
My belief, you can't change things with words. Action speaks louder. And I would call to three things. As you say, it's an action call. I would call to, first and foremost, we can't speak about love and peace and justice if we don't have it among ourselves. We have a beautiful saying in Arabic, فَقِدُ الشَّيْءِ لَا يُعْطِيهِ. If you lack something, you can give it. We don't have peace. We don't look peaceful. We don't smile. We frown most of the time. And when you expect the world to love you and be like you, no, I don't want to be like you. So we have to live this love and this reality of peace among ourselves, in our homes, with our friends. We have to be also able to express our love in action, more than words. And once we do that, it's not going to take much to be mirrored and be seen. That's number one. So that's because we talk a lot. And I'm sorry, I talk a lot too. And I become frustrated in myself. I hate watching my TV shows, by the way. Like I say, do I do these things? But the reality, I speak to you sincerely, action. So the world needs to see that. They don't see love. I mean, an American or a Canadian watching television, don't blame them. They are making a living. They are tired. They just came from home. They're thinking about H1N1. They think about the children. They think about the bills. They see something, turn channel, boom, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Middle East, different places. Look, right now, go to news, midnight news, if you're going to make it on midnight. So watch the news, what you will see. Not less than 3 places that happen to be Muslim, have blood, where Muslims are killing Muslims. Now, you tell me media and this, there is a real ground. In Palestine, they told me we have a problem. It's us. We don't get along with each other. This is a fact. We don't get along with each other here. So we don't have love. Number 2, we started this organization, Faith of Life. You know why I started this word, Faith of Life? The reason myself and David, we've spoken about this around the country. We started this because it's not faith of death. If you go outside in the street, ask them, I don't know if this question was asked by the poll, the polling, is Islam, simply we did it. Do you think Islam is a faith of death or is a faith of life? Please, ask this question to your colleagues. Many of them say, let me think about it. Those are very nice guys, you know, because they don't really, but faith of life, I didn't see no life. I went to your weddings, I thought it was a funeral. So it didn't look to me like a wedding. So even our events don't look like life. Sorry to tell you, I don't want to burst, but this is a fact. So you want to come to life to a flower. It doesn't look like flower. It looks like a burned thing. So this is the reality. You have to come to life. So you have to be the life. You have to be the flower which walks. So that's why we said it's faith of life. Now we have a news now, I'm talking about faith of life. And then the guy says, you know, in this week there was some news, and it was difficult for me to say the word faith of life. It was really difficult. This is talk. Now if I have a movie like yours, I have a data, I say, yes, you see, they want to live a good life. That's number two. So we can't call to these things. So we have to be the reality. I like what Gandhi said. Be the change you want to see. Before I blame the world. The Quran tells me, be the change yourself. Because God will not change your affairs until you change from within, by yourselves, within yourselves. I leave it there.
I hope you guys wrote these 2 points down.
How can I follow that? Only by saying that I jotted down notes before he spoke, and mine were almost identical except to be expressed differently. Before I became Muslim, I thought myself a liberal, tolerant, secular Westerner. I was an atheist, and I came to Canada to study my master's degree, and I met a Libyan at the International Student Centre there in my first week, and I literally trembled, because I said to myself, this man is a terrorist. Why has Queen's University let him in? What is he going to do to me in the name of Islam? This was during 1991, the Gulf War. When I left Australia, they were holding their Qur'ans, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, burning the US flag. It terrified me, and I thought every Muslim was like that and agreed with that sentiment. So there began my amazing journey. I'm not going to tell that story, but one of the most important factors that turned it around for me was the fact that the Muslims in Kingston were nice to me. They did smile. They invited me to tea. They invited me to their events. They shared lunch with me. They just treated me with a lot of respect. And that allowed me the chance to start asking. I was actually very rude and hostile in the beginning. If you ask any Muslim who was in Kingston at the time, I had a very bad reputation. I know what your Quran teaches. I've read it. You know, killing the unbelievers with fire and brimstone. So if anyone in the audience wants to go out and help change the image of Islam and they're a Muslim, go and do something nice for a non-Muslim person. Give them a gift, invite them to tea. You will just be surprised how a simple human gesture like that can really begin the beginning of change. So that's the first one. The second one is the power of interfaith dialogue, which is the same kind of idea on a more institutional level. And the third one is the same flower idea that Imam Hamid has said about changing ourselves. If we didn't have societies where Muslim women were oppressed in the name of Islam, if we didn't have societies where people went out and killed in the name of Islam, the Western journalists wouldn't have a story to report. They're not making up stories. They are reporting stories. Yes, there's a lot of distortion, Orientalism in the media, all that is known. But at the base, there are still stories. I remember when I just converted in 1994, the Taliban had just come in Afghanistan, and one of the first things they did was close down all the girls' schools. And I was outraged, because I was a new convert. I'd been Muslim for about 3 weeks, and I knew that Islam empowered women for the right for education. And I tried to organise a rally at Queen's Park to condemn the Taliban's closing down of girls' education in the name of Islam. I didn't get any support from the Muslims that I consulted. In fact, I got the opposite. They told me, don't oppose your Muslim brother, don't wash the dirty laundry in public. So I stayed quiet until tonight. This is the first time I've mentioned this to a big public audience. I think that was a mistake of mine. We Muslims, we have to stand up and fight for what is just. Remember that verse in the Quran? Even to be against our own kin. What the Taliban are doing is wrong. They are closing down girls' schools. They are throwing acid in the faces of principals who want to teach girls an education. This is wrong. This is not the Sunnah. And until the conservative Muslim movement, the progressives are claiming the mantle of justice. The progressive Muslims are claiming the mantle of social justice. Where is the conservative voice? We have to stand up and say this is not Islam, and I will not support the Taliban closing down girls' schools. And when we start doing that, the media will follow.